I don't know what tattoo I want. I want something that means something to me, but only while I'm drunk, and I decided just now.
I want to get Bowser on my arm, but he's got sunglasses on.
Hello friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead, look it up. Thanks so much. I thought I'd get into some more bad dates today. I don't know if they're going to stack up to the Milkman or the super gross date compilation that we posted recently, but it should be a ride at the very least. Good or bad, I just wanted to thank you for joining me for it. So let's jump into some r/DatingHell and make it do what it do. Not good with confrontation. Seems to be a theme on this channel, you know? But welcome into user Sparkling Hot Mess. Sounds like a reference to the Funky P-Beard saga if you ask me. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it on the end card for you. Anyway, a couple weeks ago, I, 45 female, met someone, 43 male, online. For context, I'm divorced and I drank heavily for the last 2 years of my marriage because I was so unhappy. Yeah, I guess we all need our little getaway. You fell into that wine mom culture. I don't know, my children just make me want to be completely unfunctional. Oh, okay. I guess we all make choices. But seriously, I'm sorry that happened to you. Is that believable? I'm a dick. Okay. I went to rehab in the summer of 2020 and got my shit together. Good for you. And I separated from my ex when I got out. Look at you, making big moves. All right, I gotta give props to that at the very least. I moved cross-country and into my parents' home to start over. That's all right, back to zero, reset the compass, it happens. I've learned how to sit with uncomfortable feelings and not self-medicate just because I'm uncomfortable. Yeah, that's something I need to learn too. I'm proud of myself for getting it together, and I have been very open about my past. A lot of respect for all of that, honestly. I know the booze ain't an easy thing to kick. We got a lot of that running rampant through my family, and though I've never fully understood it or fell victim to it, I do understand how it can really take hold. I seen it. Anyway, our first phone conversation between OP and this guy was spur of the moment, and when I asked what he was doing, he replied that he was watching TV and having a few drinks. Okay, no biggie. Oh, that's not a pumping of the brakes for you? You're not, like, worried to relapse or something? Interesting. We got to know each other, and he told me he had a history of abusing pain medication because of chronic pain, which was an old military injury, and being unhappy in his marriage. Oh, what a coinky-dink. He got divorced, he went to rehab, and he got both hips replaced. He has been clean a few years, just like I have. Yeah, not the healthiest thing to bond over, but I guess it's a starting point. If Breaking Bad has taught me anything, it's that two people with addiction issues generally shouldn't mix.
You want to cook Crystal? You and me.
Anyway, he is also a jeweler, and his family is well-to-do. Oh yeah, that's how he could afford all the pain medication, I guess. He owns a jewelry store, and he works in the family business. Okay, so his family owns a jewelry store. I told him my history and explained that my kids live with their dad because that's what's best for them. We're also making a note of that. I talked about my struggles with guilt and shame, but love my children enough to put their best interests first. He told me he completely understood and that I was brave, and that meant a lot. Is it brave to not be in your children's life 4 years after you've gotten sober?
Totally irresponsible parenting.
I don't know, man. That's something that kind of sticks in my craw just a little bit. But OP and this dude made plans for a video chat a few days later. I called him at the agreed upon time, and he looked really disheveled and dopey. Yeah, we're not actually going there. It's just a video chat. You should see me on a Zoom call, dude. I look like a fucking disaster. That's why I don't use Facecam most of the time. I asked if I had woken him up or something, and he told me that he was really anxious about our video chat and seeing me for the first time, so he had taken a few shots. He definitely looked and sounded a little bit drunk. I was a little put off and shocked, but I did talk to him.
Yeah, this should probably be the last conversation. If every time he talks to you he's drunk, then maybe, it's a little bit of a red flag, especially for someone who had those substance issues in the past. This doesn't seem compatible already. Are you too close to the situation that you can't see it, or what's going on here? Denial, I guess. It's not just a river in Egypt. So date night arrived and we met at a restaurant. Oh, you agreed to go out with this person. Super. He brought me flowers and we sat down and the waitress came by to get our drink orders. I asked for a Diet Coke and a water and he ordered a margarita. She left and he asked if I was sure I didn't want a glass of wine or something. Dude, have we not discussed this at length? You're putting yourself into like a really horrible, dangerous situation right now. And then for some reason, despite that fact, at the end of it all, we're all gonna drop our jaws and be like, oh my God, that guy was an alcoholic. I didn't see any of the signs.
Look at it! Look at it! I want all of you to look at it!
Come on. Let's be accountable for our own actions. I'll give it to OP. She's open, she's honest, but let's also be accountable. So he asked if she wanted a glass of wine, and OP says I was really taken aback. And I told him that given my history, I rarely drink now. That took him a minute to process, and he told me that he thought I went to rehab for pain pills like he did. No. Further discussion that night also led to the discovery that he didn't remember me explaining that my kids live with their dad in Arizona. Wow. He apologized and seemed embarrassed. He told me he would do better listening and would remember that I don't drink. I mean, he's either blackout drunk or he's got, chicks on the back burner. I don't understand why you think this is going to work out. Is it hard dating at 40-something? Yeah, probably. But we gotta do better than this. You don't want to settle for this. Maybe you do. I don't know. A couple days later, I asked him how his weekend was. He told me a Saturday brunch with his friends turned into an all-day rager. Yeah, 40-something, partying like you're still in high school. It was cool when you were in high school. Now it's just kind of pathetic. OP says, okay. I don't know how often he sees his friends, and I certainly wasn't there, so I didn't make a big deal about it, but in my head, I'm thinking red flag emojis, 3 of them. So I guess that count is correct, maybe? Although we might be up to 4 or 5. Either way, you should have bailed at the first sign of trouble, been like, oh, you drink and I don't think we're compatible. I'll find somebody else. That doesn't seem so difficult. But what do I know? OP says I stupidly agreed to a second date just to see how he would behave in front of me. Oh, come on. Come on!
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
You're killing me here. You're like, yeah, these are definitely red flags, but just one more time. Are you out of your mind? Do you hate your own success this much? Oh! So we met at the sushi/poke place. There was no bar there. I arrived first and ordered a water. What do you want to bet he's going to brown bag it and just bring his own booze? I got a bottle of wild turkey. You want some? Oh shit, I forgot. When he arrived, the waitress came over and he asked what they had to drink. Sapporo! It's Japanese for beer. The waitress told him they had Coke products, water, and various teas. He said, no, I mean, do you serve anything to, like, drink? She said they also had a few bottled beers and sake. Yeah, they have to. It's a sushi place. This is required by law. No bar, doesn't matter. We're drinking warm sake at the table. At this point, his eyes lit up and he ordered a beer. She left and it was deja vu. My heart sank. He forgot that I don't drink. He offered to get me a beer and I said, seriously? It took him a minute, but his eyes got wide and he said, Oh shit, I forgot. It's the exact same line. Oh, I love this. He then raised his voice some and harshly put me on the spot, demanding to know if he needed to cancel his drink. Yeah, do it. You won't. Go ahead, do it. I felt so awkward and anxious that I just blurted out that, yeah, it's fine. Oh, social pressure. Look at you caving, buckling like a belt. He's broken the social contract already. It's fine to go ham on him. Matter of fact, I don't even know why the fuck we're here. Just to see how it would go. Just one last chance. Ugh. On the inside, I felt so disrespected and upset that this asshat either doesn't care about drinking in front of me, doesn't have any respect for me, or he needs a drink because work was over and he hadn't had one all day. It doesn't even matter. Why are you sitting here trying to unpack it? He has already shown you who he is. You can't control the actions of somebody else. All you can do is control your own actions, and your actions have led you to the same place once again, and you're expecting it to turn out differently. Which is the definition of insanity, so when I asked earlier if you were insane, never mind, I already have my answer. Thank you. I knew in an instant that there would be no more dates. I'm surprised he got 2 ones. I'm surprised he got even the 1. You're drinking and watching TV? That's already like, oh, that's your leisure time activity. You just like to drink. I got no time for that. Roll up some ganja, we'll talk about it. So he did ask me for a 3rd date and told me that he wanted to spend all day together and do something like Topgolf and dinner and in a bar or a club with live music. I hurriedly said good night and left. Yeah, you didn't refuse him on the spot. That part I kind of do get. This guy's a couple sandwiches short of a lunch pill, you know what I'm saying? I'm not good with confrontation, but I sent him a message today telling him that I didn't want to go out again. I apologized for not speaking up during dinner and explained that I felt put on the spot and anxious. I explained that I was worried being around him would lead me to make poor choices, and I just didn't think that he and his lifestyle were a good fit for me. I wished him well. We had to go on 2 dates to figure out all that shit? I can tell you the first 5 minutes. Hire me as your dating coach. Hire me to revamp your Tinder profile. Just give me some money and good things will happen, I promise you. Hey, have you joined up on the Patreon or the YouTube memberships quite yet? If you haven't, maybe you should. I'd really appreciate it. OP concludes with, I don't know why I'm posting this here other than I really don't have anyone to talk to about it. Damn, that's sad. Sorry, it slipped out. It is sad though. Take some classes, join a hobby, find your support group. I think that's going to offer a lot more healthy relationships than, like an actual relationship. Whatever. Opie says, I hope I didn't come across as preachy or holier than thou. Is it too much to ask for someone not to drink in front of me? Am I asking for too much? Dating in your 40s sucks. Yeah, I fully believe that. That is something I never want to experience. Thank you. Although I think it's a bit easier for guys than chicks, as long as you got some money. TLDR, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and my date kept forgetting my history and drinking in front of me. I mean, his brain has so many holes burnt through it by Jim Beam that, yeah, I'm surprised it can retain anything at all. I think it was very mature of you that you laid it down flat and wished him well, and I guess he took it well if there's not a follow-up to this post. And there isn't. But yeah, I'm truly mystified as to how those 2 dates even happened at all. The signs were all there before you, and yeah, it's good that you got out, but hopefully next time you just read the signs. You don't have to waste any more time. I guess that's the lesson for this story. If someone shows you who they are, believe them. And now we're on into the next one. Had something sentimental stolen from me and got ghosted. Welcome to the channel, White Light, White Heats. I hope that you won't be letting strangers into your house anytime in the future. He says, I went on a date with a Tinder match yesterday. She just moved to Nolans and hasn't really been to many parades, so we went to one. And then we went to my place and we banged it out. Yeah, class act, all right. He bought me peanuts at the parade. She stopped banging right as I was about to bust. She did bust, and then she said she wanted to edge me and make me wait for round 2 later that night. Nah, you ain't making the rules, bitch. I want it right now. I'm getting it right now. You got yours. This is equality. Come here.
Come back here, you. Giggity, giggity, crabbity, giggity.
This may be a bit too aggressive. OP says, I was fine with it, though, because I thought that it was hot to let that kind of anticipation build. This boy got played like a fiddle is what happened. We went to get food after, and she wanted a shirt to wear because she felt like her outfit was too revealing to go to a restaurant. The hell you talking? You were just at a fucking parade. The restaurant is a smaller space and less people will see you. You think I'm gonna lend you one of my sweaters? Nah, not gonna happen. I got a hefty bag. I could cut some holes in it if you want. You see why I'm a difficult person to be around, don't you? OP says, I let her wear my really cool corduroy Western shirt because she thought it was cute and went well with her outfit. Dude, not letting you get yours, going through your closet and like picking out things for herself. Again, the signs are all there. How can you not see how hard you're being finessed? Holy shit. I paid for all the food and drinks that night. Of course you did. Of course you did, because you're a gentleman. Also, a moron. I don't understand. You never questioned it even once what her motivations are? Whatever. OP says, I didn't mind paying. I mean, you minded enough to make a Reddit post about it. Anyway, we got Thai food and went to a dance party at the bar after. I was kind of too tired to dance, but I still did because I wanted her to have a fun time. Yeah, that's how it is when me and my wife go to the club, you know? Or at least that's how it starts out. Eventually, I do get enough drinks in me to also have a fun time. After about an hour at the bar, she said she didn't want to go back to my place and wanted to go home because her stomach hurt, which I was fine with, and I drove her home. OP really is a gentleman about the whole thing. He's like, I'm blue balling, but that's fine. I'll drive you back. There comes a certain point where a man has to draw a line in the sand, where you have to preserve some of your own self-respect. You know what I'm saying? It's all well and fine to be a good human. I love being a good human, but she's not being a good human to you. It could all just be a crazy sequence of events and, happenstance. But I don't know, it's a little sussy, to say the least. I feel like she's kind of just out here playing games. So that's fine, play your little games, go get an Uber. I paid for everything. You should have money for an Uber, right? The fuck out of here. And also, thank you for a lovely night. OP said on the car ride back home, I asked her if she had any plans on Valentine's Day, and she said she didn't, and that she'd love to spend Valentine's Day with me. Aww. When she got out of the car, she still had my shirt on, but I forgot to ask for it back after she got out. Yeah, strip that shit off. Go home in your bra. That ain't your shirt. Even if I did notice the shirt, I wouldn't have been too concerned because we agreed to plans on Valentine's Day and I could have gotten it back from her later. Yeah, I guess. I've lost too many sweaters this way, though. They ain't gonna get me again, I'll tell you that. I'll make sure of it. It's gonna get real awkward for both of us. OP says, I bought that shirt last year to cheer myself up the day after I got broken up with. Is that sentimental for you? I guess. On top of that, it was one of my favorite shirts that I would wear for special occasions and whatnot. She hasn't replied to any of my text messages since and has ghosted me. So I basically got edged and then love bombed and then had my favorite shirt stolen from me and then I got ghosted. I mean, yeah. You got finessed super hard. And this is a lesson for next time. It actually goes into a bit more depth in OP's other post, which was posted on the same day from r/offmychest, where he says, uncomfortable intimate experience. Oh yes, tell us all about it. OP says, I boned this girl from Tinder. The boom boom was pretty good, and I was putting my all into pleasing her in any way I could. Doing everything she likes. Yeah, everything she likes. This person that I just met, I know what she likes. Okay, I guess you got it done, because indeed, she come, and then a few minutes later, I'm really close to busting, and she gets off me, and tells me that it's over. She then explains to me that she never wanted me to get mine and that she enjoys seeing me disappointed. Dude, that's... Again, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them! What the fuck? Like, this is after a parade, okay? You could have just cut the cord right there. Okay, what did we waste? A little bit of time, probably not very much money to go to a parade. But after the disappointment bit, you take her out to a bar and dinner and all this shit, a nightclub? There is such a thing as being too nice a guy. If anybody's leaving here disappointed, it's gonna be you, because I'm gonna stand here and take care of myself while you watch. I don't give a fuck. We gotta do better than this, OP. Holy hell. OP says, I get that edging and denial play is a thing, but I did not like how she had this ulterior motive to do this to me going in. Like, at least communicate it to me before that you wanted that sort of thing, because if you're not in on it, then it just kind of feels humiliating that someone is actively getting off to your disappointment. Like, it feels a little uncomfortable to even think about. Yes, indeed, it does. And what is your response to that? Not righteous indignation, not pursuit of justice, like you should have. You took her out to a fucking dinner and paid for everything. You rewarded the bad behavior, so the bad behavior is only going to continue. You're an enabler. You enabled all of this. And personally, I think that one corduroy Western shirt is a small price to pay for a life lesson of this magnitude. Take your L, move on, and of course, let's say it again for everybody. We can all say it together. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Holy God. I guess let's roll the dice on another story and see how it goes. We definitely seem to be developing a theme today, so let's see if that's in keeping right now. The 1 hour nightmare. Only an hour? My nightmares feel like they last forever. I'm having one right now. And I think the M means OP's a male, so okay. A few years ago, I agreed to a blind date. First mistake. Numbers were exchanged, phone calls were made, and she and I planned to have dinner that Friday evening. This is a timeline of said date. Dude, blind dates are always the best. I hope you have to go out with Herman Munster. Not because I actually want you to go out with Herman Munster, but just for my own entertainment. I don't know if that makes it any better. So 6:45 p.m., I arrive at her house to pick her up. I know this seems odd for blind date protocol, but she had requested that rather than both of us meeting at the restaurant, I pick her up because her car is not street legal. What, you got some nitrous oxide in the trunk? Heavily tinted windows? No, it's probably just an expired registration. She walks out of her house and she is dressed fairly nice. The one thing that seemed odd was that she was wearing enough eye makeup to make the likes of RuPaul and Lady Gaga cringe. Are you for sure that you're not dating RuPaul right now? As she approached the car, I could smell the distinct aroma of vodka. Oh, it's the Waffle House lady again, maybe. Just a walking disaster. When she hugged me hello, I could tell that she had been pre-gaming this date big time. I opened the door for her, helped her into the car, and away we went to share a magical evening together. I'm sure it'll all turn out just as you hope. It's gonna be fine. 6:55 p.m. We arrive at the sushi bar. Wow, you drive fast. I had suggested another restaurant for our date, a new locally owned restaurant that had received terrific reviews and was the talk of the town, but she declined that idea. based on the fact that she'd never heard of the place and that for a first date, I should take her someplace nice. Nah, first dates are somewhere cheap. You don't get to go somewhere nice until you reach the third date. The conversation in the car was just standard getting to know you stuff. She complimented me on my attire. She requested that the music be changed from the alt-rock station to the hip-hop station because she, quote, didn't listen to that Gaylord shit. And she questioned whether or not I was a serial killer. You know, standard stuff. Oh, if anybody could make me become a serial killer. My car, my music. You want to listen to hip-hop? Maybe you should have brought your little AirPods or something. You don't like it? Get the fuck out.
Get out of my car now!
At the next stop sign, you just open the car door. You're like, okay, shoo, go. We do not turn off Led Zeppelin in this car. 7 p.m. We are seated and given the menus. She opens her menu and orders a bottle of Tokyo Rose, which is a combination of sake and plum wine. As the waiter's walking away, my date opens her menu and says, you know, it's really weird. I totally like Japanese food, but I can't stand those people. Oh. Yeah, that is really weird. Really weird that you would think that's an acceptable thing to say out loud. Is it because Japanese people as a society are rather quiet and calm and respectful, and you're basically the antithesis of all of those things? But OP doesn't say that. Instead, he says, I just looked up from my menu and searched her face for any trace of sarcasm or irony. I don't think she's smart enough to do either of those. I also notice out of the corner of my eye that the waiter, upon hearing this, froze in place for a brief moment, shook his head as if he imagined the whole thing, and then went about his business. Yeah, okay, she's an asshole, but we still accept racist dollars. She then continued on, I also don't really like, and then proceeded to list like every single ethnic and racial slur that I had ever heard, and a good number that I hadn't. There are some really fun ones out there. The waiter returned with our drinks shortly thereafter. You think the waiter hawked the loogie in it? Because I would have.
That look like spit to you? Yeah. Ah, fuck it.
Anyway, 7:06 p.m. The timestamps are weirding me out. It feels like everything's moving super fast, but I guess 6 minutes is long enough to go grab some drinks. So after placing our food orders, I ordered a tuna roll, she ordered a salad because the thought of eating raw fish makes her sick. Didn't she say she liked the food? What? It was then that she asked me an odd question. Are you hairy? No, I'm ReddX. Nice to meet you. I can't recall if anyone had ever asked me that before, and I was unsure how I should answer. I'm a 37-year-old man, so yeah, I have body hair. I'm not Chewbacca, but I don't look like a 10-year-old boy either. Honestly, not the worst answer. Probably the mistaken name thing is funnier than a straight answer, but whatever. Apparently, this was an issue for her. Well, if we're gonna do it tonight, then you gotta wax all that shit off, because I don't play that way. Oh, okay, well, I wasn't planning on playing any sort of way. I had already decided before the date began that there was gonna be no banging, so I wasn't too worried about being violently shorn that evening. Yeah, that's heavy. That's a lot of dedication. No amount of polishing the bishop is gonna buff out that amount of pain. It's not worth it. Especially when that type of clam slamming leads you to get involved with somebody who's just so very clearly a complete mess. OP says, quick to change the subject, I decided to ask a question that might distract her vodka and sake-soaked mind. Do you have any tattoos? I got one. Her eyes lit up, and she nodded excitedly. Yeah, cool. Deep, meaningful conversation we've got going here. That's a great substitute for a personality. At 7:12 p.m., my delicate flower of a date throws her leg onto the table, lifts her pant leg, and shows me a tattoo that wraps around her ankle. Was it a barbed wire tattoo? Because those things are so cool. They're so 90s. I'm going to get a fucking barbed wire tattoo, man. Around my ankle, because I'm delicate. It's some generic looking tribal pattern. Yeah, I guess that's more early 2000s. It had a few kanji characters worked into the design. Oh yeah, just give me the poo-poo platter. A little bit of everything. I don't know what tattoo I want. I want something that means something to me, but only while I'm drunk, and I decided just now.
I want to get Bowser on my arm, but he's got sunglasses on.
She explains that the Japanese script are actually the names of her future children, Dylan and Skylar. Bro, you are off your rocker. No, none of this is happening. She rotates her ankle to show off the design, and she knocked the half-empty bottle of sake onto the floor. Just a drunken mess. And she crazy as hell. Talking about the ghost children? Nah, I think I'm good. I think this date's over. Can we get the check? Or at least my half of the check. I gotta bounce. At 7:16 p.m., an amused waiter assists me with my attempt to soak up the spilled liquor from the carpet while my date reveals her second tattoo. My other tattoo's a tramp stamp, she says, loud enough for everybody to hear, but I don't show that to everybody. Yeah, sure. I mean, 50% of the population's women. There's also probably some ugly dudes in there. It's a coin flip on whether you get to see it or not. Somehow my brain thinks it's a good idea to ask, why not? I mean, what other conversation are you actually going to have here? You might as well just start farming for content after a certain point. Her response was, because it's a big ol' heart. I got it so that when you're doing me in the butt, you know that I love you. Dude. What?
Yeah. Like that's ever gonna happen. What a load.
Yeah, I guess. Her love language is just acts of service with her butt. The waiter and I lock eyes as I attempt to develop the power of telepathy. I imagine that our mental conversation went something like this. OP, dude, you gotta help me out here. This chick is a hot mess. Please just get us our food and then bring me the goddamn check. Him, oh, no way, man. This is too hilarious. I'm going to tell everyone in the kitchen to come and laugh at your sorry ass. And then he promptly vanished into the kitchen. Well, he's not getting the tip, I'll tell you that much. 7:23 p.m. Our food arrives with the hope that my dining companion might be too preoccupied with her salad to continue to speak. How long do you think a salad is gonna hold her, honestly? Opie says my hope was quickly destroyed. She began talking about her last job and why she was fired from it. Oh boy. According to her, she was working as an office temp when there was some type of altercation between herself and her manager. Like I said, just a class act. The reason she was let go was because, quote, he was too much of a sissy to fight like a man. I still have no idea what that meant. And I oftentimes find myself lying awake at night, pondering what exactly happened. Honestly, probably not even a line of logic worth exploring, because I guarantee you there was no line of logic other than she didn't want to work or felt disrespected by her manager because she was being asked to do her job. I would have her removed too. This is how we fight in the modern day. We wield bureaucracy as a sword. You gotta catch up. Anyway, OP says, I tried to change the subject by discussing films. Did she have a favorite film? If so, what was it? As it turns out, she was a fan of cinema. Yes, a passive activity you can do while sloshed out of your mind. Imagine that. Her current favorite movie was Oliver Stone's Natural Born Killers. I also enjoyed the film, but for reasons that were quite different from hers. Oliver Stone does make some really good stuff, you know? Any Given Sunday, The People vs. Larry Flint, Year of the Dragon are but a few. I think he also directed Conan the Barbarian, like the old one with Arnold. He's not quite on like a Coen Brothers level, but I mean, he's earned his stripes for sure. Anyway, why'd you enjoy it, OP? OP says, instead of citing Stone's use of blunt violence, mixed media, different film stock, and the sometimes shocking juxtaposition of the horrors of American suburban life with the colorful, media-happy world of the 1990s, her reason was because Mallory Knox is fucking hot. Then she went on to quote every single line of dialogue uttered by Juliette Lewis in the film. This is so weird. She's just meme spouting about Natural Born Killers. I'm sorry I asked. Obviously you like it a lot more than I do. Why don't you throw some quotes right back at her? You could say there's an idea of an OP, some kind of abstraction, but there is no real me, only an entity, something illusory. And even though I can hide my cold gaze, and you can shake my hand and feel flesh gripping yours, and maybe you can even sense our lifestyles are probably comparable, I simply am not there. And oh God, what a great pleasure it would be to not be here in this moment, having to quote American Psycho to you to try and unsettle you enough to end the date. When as a matter of fact, I could just end the date myself right now. I got to go to the bathroom, and then book it to the car. 7:26 p.m. How sexy am I now? She screamed as she stood in her chair, one foot planted centimeters away from my empty plate. You sat down, ordered and ate within 26 minutes? Holy shit. That is some kind of speedy service. Maybe that waiter does deserve a tip. Then again, it's sushi. It's not like you have to cook it. In order to calm things down, I decided to change the subject yet again. This time I decided to learn about her family. Yeah, surely that's more fun than a bag of mixed nuts. I offered that I had one younger brother and two adorable nieces. She said that the only family she had was her mother, with whom she lived. She went on to detail the fights that she and her mother would have on a daily basis and how her mother didn't understand the stress that she dealt with in everyday life. Maybe you don't understand the stress that basically everybody has to deal with in everyday life. Be honest, lay it down really flat for me and tell me what is the biggest problem that you have. 2 ghost children? Where you're gonna get your next drink? Get out of my face! Talking to me about stress. OP says this, she explained, was why it was vital that she continue her strict regimen of Prozac and vodka. Yeah, just to balance me out a little bit. I could see the storm clouds gathering in her eyes as she went on. And my mom just doesn't understand how tough it is. If she would just get a better job, then maybe I wouldn't have to collect unemployment.
That's why your mama dead.
It's not up to her, stupid. It's up to you. Showing up to collect free money? That's your big problem? You're not cut out for this life. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I mean, can you believe it? I have to remember to turn in that paperwork once a week. Pathetic. The dam holding back her emotions finally burst, and she began crying, turning her eye makeup into dark rivers of grief. Oh my God, now I can't scream in her face because she started crying, but she definitely needs a reality check. Do you understand how easy you have it? It doesn't get any easier than this. What is your plan for the future? What happens when mom dies? Then you just live off the unemployment checks? That ain't enough to get you by, I guarantee it. Anyway, 7:30 p.m., halfway home, I guess, the helpful and courteous waiter appeared at the table after looking resplendent in his branded apron and shit-eating grin. "Could I get you to anything else?" he offered. I leaned over and said, "Just the check, please." He looked at me, looked at the sobbing train wreck in the opposite chair, turned his head, looked me in the eye, and said, "Not yet," and then vanished into the kitchen. What an asshole. No tip for sure. What are you talking about?
I want to speak to your...
I tell you how it's supposed to be. Come back here. 7:35 p.m. After ruining 2 napkins, probably not cloth napkins. Then again, maybe upscale sushi. No, probably not. I was finally able to stop the flow of tears coming from my date. The waiter, realizing that his last stunt more than likely cost him a tip, did return with the check. I quickly gave him my card, which he ran with all haste. As I signed the tab, my date said, "So what are we doing now?" As if nothing had happened. We're not doing anything. I'm fucking going home. This has been the worst experience of my life. Thanks so much. I'd rather endure a month of bamboo torture than have to spend another minute around you. So 7:45, I pulled my car onto her street, and she said, "You're not gonna call me back. I can tell." Yeah, I'm not. What reason would I have to do that? Not wanting to hurt her feelings or risk having her go feral while still in my car, I said, "I just don't think I'm the right guy for you." Yeah, as an addendum, you have a lot of damage within yourself. I don't think there is a right guy until you get that sorted. I decided not to enumerate the reasons for this decision. It's probably smart. That being that I owned no clothes designed by Ed Hardy, I had no illegitimate children, and I was not training to be an MMA fighter. And despite being a huge fan of the show Breaking Bad, who isn't, I had absolutely no idea how to cook meth. I mean, a quick Google search can sort you on that part. But yeah, she is gross. Really low class, just not something that anybody would want to get involved with. I'm sure a lot of dudes would hit, but they ain't gonna go back. Kind of a sad story when you think about it. She's so desperate for intimacy, but the reason why she can't maintain a relationship is because of her own personal damage that she doesn't even want to look at. Ugh. So when we pulled into her driveway, she began crying again. "Why is the date over? It's not even 8, and I'm not even drunk yet." It's not my job to get you drunk, all right? Take yourself down to the CVS, get yourself a bottle of Tito's, all right? You're gonna be fine. I mean, not fine, but also not my problem. I exited the vehicle and opened the passenger side door. Partly because I'm a gentleman, and partly to give her the hint that it was time to get the fuck out of my car. I love the dichotomy of that sentence. She stood in front of me crying, her head in her hands. Not being a monster, I decided to give her a hug. No, that's how it starts. You just pat her on the back. You say, "It okay? Don't be cry." Now go in your house. Tell your mom what a monster I am. As soon as I pulled her close to me, she raised her head and sunk her teeth into my neck. We're just in for all types of twists and turns today, ain't we? You did not misread that. This crazy bitch bit me. I don't even know how to unpack that. She thinks she's a vampire? She's angry? Did she think that would get you going in some type of way? I'm mystified. Thankfully, she did not break the skin. As soon as she released her grip, she ran full speed into her garage, screaming, "Screw you, you friggin' gaylord!" Yes, that's me, Lord of the Gays. As I got into my car, my cell phone rang. It was my rescue call. Well, shit, sort of too little too late. I answered, staring off into space like Martin Sheen at the end of Apocalypse Now. "Hey man, how's your date going?" asked my friend. The only thing I could mutter was, "The horror. The horror!" Lesson learned, no more blind dates, huh? And always remember, no matter how bad you have it in life, at least you're not that woman. Epilogue. My morning routine is fairly boring. Wake up, check email, read the news while enjoying a cup of coffee, check my phone for messages, just very pedestrian stuff. Every now and then, when I pick up my phone while pouring my coffee, I'll find text messages sent between 1 to 5 a.m. from a number labeled "Do Not Answer." Sometimes they're nude pictures, sometimes they're violent threats. Each time I slowly reach up and rub the spot on my neck, which has suddenly began throbbing. So was the friend that called at the end like the one who set up the blind date? Because I don't know if I'd call them a friend anymore. You set me out with a hot mess. What am I supposed to do with this fucking soup sandwich? Just dripping everywhere, crying mascara all running down her face? I don't got time for that. Nobody has time for that. Sort your own shit out and then we'll go on a date. Probably not though. That is a lot of baggage. These issues are deep-seated, and yeah, I'm not a licensed therapist, so good luck with all of that, but I gotta get the hell out of here. And I'm glad that OP did exactly that. I hope you enjoyed the episode, friends. If you did, I hope you like, comment, subscribe. Support me on the Patreon or the YouTube channel memberships or any of those things that you want. I'd really appreciate it. We've got an Amazon affiliate link to my mic. If you buy Amazon things, then I get kicked back an extra little bit of cash. It don't cost you nothing. It's real nice. We've also got Teespring if you want some merch. New custom merch is coming soon as we sort out the logistics. Thank you so much for your patience. Regardless of any of that type of support, I'm super glad that you watched the video, especially if you watched it this far. MVP plays, nothing but. I want you to always remember, friend, that you are loved, you are worthy. You definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's gonna be fine.